middle lane and the top lane to push in. The Terrify lands on the Bear. The shortcut comes in. The Spear lands and the Kobe right down on the Bear, putting themselves in a 4 versus 5 fashion. Diablo goes all the way to the back and finds FMM. What the main bodies of Npfl just going to be focusing on to Kiwi as well as the Chu. The Breath of the Ocean is not going to be doing anything at all. And Asterisk unfortunately suffers their very first. Who makes the least amount of mistakes? We're here already at the playoffs. The control guy. There's so many things that you can do. Paquito, he knows what he needs to do. Bruno, he knows what he needs to do. Kadita just go in a burst. It's very individualistic kind of lineup.
All right, nice stats right here. We get to see Chip on the Purify as well. I think that's also going to be very important, bringing the Goon Squad together, like what Gideon likes to say. But ladies and gentlemen, going back into game, Npfl going up against Asterisk in the blue, and Npfl in the red. Rising Star going up against Star this time round.
Yeah, so we see Cortese being really low right now. They've got a significant amount of chip damage on the side of Asterisk to Npfl. Having to do an early recall right here should actually be benefiting Kiwi.
Yep, Chip in the early game does have a lot of damage as well because of the pokes. And Kiwi, if you land the knockup really well, man, that's a lot of damage. Early game as a Valentina, you don't really have much good clear. Even if you have to clear, it's going to be very expensive mana-wise, right? And look at FMM, just looking for the next victim for the side of Npfl.
All the way onto the top lane, they are just going to be putting themselves onto Vanix, but it's not too big of a deal for Vanix. In fact, he will be very happy to continue the fight if he really had to. Hades joined into the action, didn't really quite land a magical thumb, but at least he do have spatial migration to get himself closer to Chu. And of course, with all the stacks build up, the Violet Requiem finishes him off.
Man, I thought Chu was able to get out there, but he's already burned the Purify. And with the damage coming out from 80s in the early game, man, there's a lot of numbers on the stats coming out from Guinevere, but now Asterisk looking at the bottom lane. Diablo, still level 3, doesn't have the power spike yet.
Yeah, look, I think Asterisk is trying to do some small crossplay, right? They get punished at the top lane, they try to go down to the gold lane, to the EXP lane to try and get something from there, but Masha, 3 HP bars to go through, I think she's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, and you don't mess with Diablo at level 4, right? The 3 Thunderclaps or 2 Thunderclaps, and not only just that, Baron only just already hit level 4, and Asterisk is in a better position going into the turtle, because don't forget, Hades, I think he should be ticking to level 5 very soon. FMM jumping in.
It doesn't seem like they will be able to do quite much to Lossie as well as Cortese for now, but the main thing is Npfl has already recongregating themselves right down onto FMM, and of course the shortcut being popped right up, but it doesn't seem like they will be able to come in to help JH for now. But of course, we have the Violet Requiem just going to be knocking JH as well as Bear up, but unfortunately through all of that, Diablo still managed to find the Thunderclap, clapping down onto JH, bringing him down effectively. With the jungler down, and Npfl have got a free turtle.
Mechanical coming off from Npfl in the first turtle, right? Like I said, the bonus EXP that Hades has secured for himself in the top, getting a Guinevere to snowball, you get Cortese to snowball. Man, Asterisk is just using FMM, throw bodies right here, trying to buy time for JH to secure the turtle. That did not work.
Yeah, look, that was a flawless team fight, I think, on the side of Npfl. Asterisk just kind of walking in there, trying to prevent them from doing it, but it's a bit too hard to stop the momentum right now that Npfl has. 1.5k gold lead ahead right now on the side of Npfl. That's almost half an item.
Yeah, not only just that, Kiwi also landed a 3-man Petrify. That should convert into something, but Npfl, I think they stand in a very awkward angle for Kiwi to kind of pop. Like now you have to pick one person to pop, right? But unfortunately, not able to do anything at all for now. But I would say that Asterisk right here, they have to play it safe. But there's a mid-game power spike, and I just say that they have to play it safe. FMM on the chopping block right there.
Yeah, I think they are choosing the right person to target down, right? They know FMM right now not doing too hot. He's really behind in EXP, I feel.
Yep.
And as we see the runes right now.
The emblems coming up, right?
Coming up, yep. Nothing. Yeah, I'm surprised.
Okay.
Chip on Concussive Blast.
Yeah, so that you get massive clear in the mid lane, and that's why they have a lot of good trade in the mid lane earlier just now.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to trade, it really boils down to pushing people back in and recall, right? But all in all, Asterisk, they managed to clear the lanes in the middle lane pretty fast. They have lane priority, but up until now, I don't really see any of the use of the mid lane priority. They haven't really applied any form of pressure in the top lane or the bottom lane, even when it comes down to river control. we're not exactly seeing that at all.
Yeah, FMM just teleported himself down to the bottom lane, and there's a lot of fights happening at the bottom side, but it's going to be Kiwi picking up Hades, though.
Immediately going down, we do have Katisi that's hoping that he'll be able to get himself with the Kadita's ultimate to do some good damage, but unfortunately wasn't able to do quite much. Lossie all the way in the front lines, taking the full brunt of the damage, in fact, taking all of the ultimate from JH as well, with a 2-4-0 trade. That's not exactly good for Npfl at all.
Yeah, and this should put Asterisk back onto the map in terms of a priority, but Npfl, yes, starting to lose a lot of this gold lead. This is Asterisk in the mid-game power spike, and Asterisk forcing Npfl in a fight they don't want to be in, especially when the turtle is already up.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised Npfl couldn't take more from that fight, to be honest. I mean, they had advantage in terms of men as well. But Turtle, all eyes looking on the Turtle right now as we see the teams grouping up. Masha still, Diablo still at the bottom. Paquito going down to match that. But we see a slight Turtle dance starting to happen. JH initiating on the Turtle.
Yep, and right now Hades just, you know, equal in terms of levels as compared to JH, right? Curtisi is standing forward right there. He knows the limits of this Valentina. You can see how comfortable he is on this Valentina. And now the Turtle's already quarter HP. Is going to get resetted. Lossie is hiding in the pixel brush right into set up. FMN coming for the flank on the conceal.
And doesn't seem like they have enough damage at all, but take a look at the amount of damage that's going to be popping down on the Lossie without Iminoan's Fury. It doesn't seem like Npfl will be able to take this fight at all. Npfl made their way backwards with JH continuing onto his pursuit onto Hades. This 1v1 assault, how is that gonna end up like? But Kadita seems like he's gonna be slowly on his way over. In the meantime, FMM finds himself being choked out down in the bottom side with Bear, hoping that he will be able to take Vanix down throughout all of that menace and chaos.
Oh, one spear of destruction lands right in between the eyes of Bear, takes him down, but I don't know whether this is worth it for Npfl. They're just trading, right, for kills, but at the same time, Asterisk not only take down the Turtle up top, they also take down the top lane Turtle. Gives a lot of farm for the side of True, but Vanix is farming heroes instead.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's close. The gold is really, really close. Right now, Npfl at a 500 gold lead. Just looking at the tower showing should increase slightly. 1K, but it's looking pretty good for the side of Asterisk.
Oh, FMM was hoping that he'll be able to make it into the brushes, but of course, with a quick little shortcut, it brings Kiwi as well, JH back all in. But with the Minoan's Fury only landing on the one, but Bear joins in, and he actually got hit by the Violet Requiem, but they are actually surviving still pretty darn well. Hades, quickly, with the spatial migration backwards, they did manage to come up still all alive with 2 kills to their name.
And only just that, Vanix lands the Spear of Destruction True. Doesn't really have the mana. He doesn't really have the mana to dash away. He's taking a lot of punishment right here. Diablo's going to chase, but JH, you can start to see Asterisk starting to fall apart just a little bit, but hold on a second.
It doesn't really have any health bars left, as we do have this Kiwi comes in from the back, and of course with the Appraisal's Wrath that finishes off the deal.
FMM is that baseball that Asterisk is throwing against Npfl and hoping that it hurts. But you know, it's a baseball, right? It's made of cloth.
Hey, baseballs, have you ever gotten hit by a baseball? Dude, those things
not yet.
hurt, but, you know, going back into the game, that was a really confusing fight. It feels like Asterisk is looking a little bit disorganized right now, right? FMM is choosing to take fights, and they're just really hoping to get something from that fight, but it seems like the other half of the team is just not going in for it.
I think it's just because of the presence of Lossie, right? Yes, I have a shortcut, but are you going to shortcut right into a Lossie's ultimate? And that's what makes it so hard for Asterisk to commit. And we talk about the trust in between the teams from the side of Asterisk, and now, where's that trust?
Trust needs to be earned, but, you know, I think so far they're not out of it, right? Asterisk is not out of it just yet. You know, they're only down 700 gold. They have been actually taking the lead in terms of taking these objectives, but we see Npfl, 4 men on the Lord, JH and Kadita, those are the only 2 people that are nearby the Lord, right? We do see Bear at the top as well, but in terms of collapsing, it's looking a little bit tight.
Sorry, I started laughing quite in abstract. I was thinking, like, this is like everybody from the side of Npfl is just looking at JH, just dancing around right there. It's like, you know, they're about to pounce on JH, right? And they're just looking at it like, super judgy right there. I can feel it judgmental all the way to the caster desk.
Absolutely just wasting their time, right?
It is.
For the side of Asterisk, they are just wasting the time of Npfl because they know and they saw that there's no one around the map. They have 0 information, and it's very likely going to be harder around the Lord. While in the meantime, they just send Chu, go down to the bottom lane, just do what you want. They're not gonna come here.
Yeah, and don't forget FMM can take the shortcut to reinforce all the way up top. If you take a look at Curtizi's brush right there, that's basically just to make sure that FMM doesn't go there. But apart from that, I'm already feeling hungry. There you go, the McDonald's just McDeliver the improved chicken McCrispy, man.
Hey, there's a code for 50% off, man.
Yeah, man.
Is that lunch for us?
Take it. Just do it.
Hey, 50!
Yeah, key in that code, CMCXMLBB.
Oh, that's actually pretty easy to remember as well.
Yeah.
Chicken McCrispy.
Yeah, and of course, NIP Flash, just looking at GH like it's a McCrispy itself. We're looking at this Lord fight for the past 1 minute, and yeah, it's making me a little bit hungry.
Man, this stalemate. I gotta have to say, NIP
Bottom
Flash.
lane.
Look at bot, look at bot.
Oh, bottom
Finally,
lane.
we're doing the
Ooh.
shortcut, just gonna be popped. They want to get a kill down onto Diablo, but it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade for now. Bear flickers himself away with just a sliver of health. Amazing! Well, Losey hoping that he'll be able to catch up onto the Bear, but with him going down, there's really not much that NIP Flash gonna continue onwards. Now, Hades continues his pursuit down onto JH. He managed to land on the Violet Requiem to buy enough time for Kha'Zix as well as Vanix to join in.
Yeah,
That's so rough.
that's so rough, right? That shortcut turns out to be a shortcut for NIP Flash to join in the fight as well. And all of a sudden, Asterisk just walks into everybody's a little bit, jet lagged right into a Minoan Fury of Losey.
If that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is. We do see NFP Flash taking down the Lord extremely quickly. Asterisk is right not to compete for this. If they do compete for this and they do lose out on the Lord as well as the team fight, I don't think there's a way for them to come back.
Yep. Now, don't forget, the mid-game power spike from Asterisk is starting to fade. NIP Flash, on the other hand, this is the late game kind of matchup, right, for the side of Vanix. Diablo in the late game, don't forget, if you notice his emblems earlier just now, it was Bargain Hunter, and after that, just to make sure that he gets his items quickly. He knows he's not going to be able to win in lane, so I'm going to win in the long run, right? That Bargain Hunter is just going to add so much value in terms of getting these expensive items, especially BOD.
For sure, for sure. We do see the Lord shoving down the bot lane. Right now, we do see the teams starting to group up. But remember what we talked about just now, right? In terms of grouped up team fights, we do know who is more favored.
Yep.
I don't see a way for Asterisk to win this right now. We see the Masha as well being able to push out on the side to match the Paquito. So the split push composition isn't quite working out for the side of Asterisk.
Well, the Lord's HP has dropped quite fast, in fact, tremendously. But the main thing for NIP Flash really just boils down to bring down all the exterior turrets, which is kind of a shame because the top lane's turret is still standing up tall. I'm pretty sure that Diablo will want to deal with Bear as soon as possible, but not a single thunderclap has been seen. They just want to deal with the proxy game for now. As you can see, Hades just clipping himself onto FMM, just a tad little poke here and there.
Yeah.
Little poke, dude. That was 1/3 of his HP, man.
But he could heal it up. Diablo is using the Masha, abusing the fact that he could actually just stay in lane as long as he scratches somebody, or the turret, or the minions. He could just immediately... What? Damage dealt by FMM. That's crazy.
32k?
Huh? Oh my god, he's dealing more damage than Chu.
Wait, what?
I am the carry now.
Chu, only 11k damage, man. That is wild.
When I play the roam, it feels good when I'm the one dealing most of the damage. But don't forget, FMM comes in with a lot of splash damage. And FMM used to be the carry back in Slate, which was Singapore. And of course, don't forget, he was from Bleed as well. So he used to be in more of like damage dealer. And this is basically he's in his element.
I mean, look, he's at 1-5-5, by the way. He's 1-5-5 and still doing the most damage. Come on, guys, step up the game. It's time to catch up.
All right.
But I do expect to see Chu. I think doing he needs to pull a bit more of his weight, right? If Asterisk is gonna win this, Chu needs to do more damage.
And not only just that, I think right now, Kiwi also played a tremendous job right here trying to look for the pickouts on top of Vanix, but Vanix is just so hard to catch because there's always that reset on the dash. Yes, you can also reset on the Bruno dash as well, but it's very mana dependent, right? And if he dashes incorrectly, NIP Flash is going to gobble him up. And if you notice, most of these fights is always FMM shortcut right into Losey's Minoan Fury. And Now Asterisk, they're trying to play it split, but Masha is keeping him in check.
I think one of the main reasons is, of course, how Chip is brought into this game, right? It's a very reactionary play. When it comes down to Asterisk, they want to respond to when Npfl actually jumps on them, but not necessarily them starting the shortcut themselves, because they really have to be careful about how FMM has been going around the map and just putting himself in brushes, because we all know Npfl, they will always position themselves wisely, and the moment that our dear FMM just traverse across the map, he might just find himself in a 1v5 scenario.
Yeah, it's just really hard to pilot Chip right now in this kind of team composition, right? We failed to mention earlier that Minotaur, great pick into FMM, right? Because the thing is that if Chip drops the portal, all he needs to do is wait for the whole team to arrive and just presses the Minotaur and Fury.
Yep. Don't forget, Adamir drafted Valentina and Minotaur together, and then after the Asterisk picked the Chip, right? It feels like Npfl knows Asterisk wants to pick that Chip because they know they don't want to fight face on, and then after that they're going to force a split. But here we go, it's going to be, Npfl knocking on the middle lane right here. FMM goes in to conceal.
All the way from the behind. Bear is still somewhere within of the brushes, haven't really quite revealed himself just yet. The Lord marches to the bottom lane, brings down the inhibitor in the middle lane, while the rest of Npfl is patiently waiting for the middle lane and the top lane to push in. The Terrify lands onto Bear, the shortcut comes in, the spear lands, and the Kobe right down on the Bear, putting themselves in a 4 versus 5 fashion. Diablo goes all the way to the back and finds FMM. What the main bodies of Npfl is going to be focusing on to Kiwi as well as the Chu. The Breath of the Ocean is not going to be doing anything at all. And Asterisk unfortunately suffers their very first loss here, coming into the playoffs.
Man, somebody from the side of Npfl picked up a Maniac as well. GG well played from the side of Npfl. Like what I mentioned, this is another day in the office, right? And can we get an office zoom for the side of Npfl? But apart from that, Asterisk, they're gonna have to look back at the drawing board once again. This composition, it feels like they're onto something, but it's not enough.
Yeah, not to mention, I think they need to put more priority on Chu, right? Chu looked so out of his element there, where literally all the meta gold laners were banned, right? He had to go really deep into the Bruno, and we saw he was not able to carry his team. He was not able to deal enough damage in the team fights, right? So honestly speaking, I think they need to relook in terms of how they draft, right? They need to prioritize Chu. They need to give him something that he's a little bit more comfortable on. Yes, JH is important, right? Yes, getting that Fredrin is important, but they need to prioritize Chu.
Yeah. If you take a look back at the picks, right, maybe switch the Paquito pick, right? You don't prioritize Bear because I feel like Bear has a little bit better hero pool as compared to Chu. But especially when you started the whole ban phase, it's like, yeah, let's just take all the marksmen away.
Honestly, when it comes down to Asterisk win condition, it really just boils down to me is the fact that it's a very individualistic game. It's
right.
all about micro. They're gonna have to win in their own micro game in order to beat against Npfl. But the moment that they are unable to do that in their laning positions, there's really not much that they can do coming out of laning.
Yep, let's take a look at the MVP, ladies and gents. It is, I don't know, it could be, okay, it's gonna go to Vanek 704, 868 GPM.
It's
actually
6A.
Quite high, actually. And don't forget, he's been landing those Spear of Destruction without enablers. It's basically just landing it, like the amount of prediction Vanix has to do, and then being able to land a Spear of Destruction onto a moving target like Paquito. That's crazy.
I feel it's like a basketball game, right? He's throwing a three-point shot. Kobe, score, and he gets a kill from that. But we do see, if we just take a quick look in terms of his items, pretty standard stuff. Malefic Rob, Wind of Nature, and the trio, the Holy Trinity, right? Yep. Pretty standard stuff. We do see his emblems though. Interesting choice.
Yep, the common emblem so that he could just spam mana. He spam his dashes willy-nilly. That's basically what most of the Moscovs are doing.
Oh, he picked Thrill as well.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
More damage in the early game to
I was
trade.
expecting penetration.
Nah,
He's gonna rapture it.
More damage. More early
More
game damage. More emotional. I mean, more early game damage, right?
More damage, more
You
better.
add on the Master Assassin, you're basically winning lane, and that's probably why the Moskov is just so prior right now in this current meta, right? The flexibility that the Moskov was able to do, you could just split push after that and join the fight. It has a global ultimate as long as you land.